we're catching up with a couple of fellas who are collaborating on a game that's due out this fall on PC, PS3, Xbox 360, Borderlands, the pre-sequel. First of all, can you take us back to when this little marriage here started out? When Gearbox said, "Hey, why not do another Borderlands? Why not look for someone to help us with that?" And or what? You tell the story. What went on?
Actually, it was 2K Games.
Yeah.
The guys at 2K Australia have been working on the BioShock games for years now because they were originally part of Irrational and they done fantastic work. They were finishing that up. And we were also sort of saying, okay, what are we going to do next? 2K said, well, they're looking for something to do next and they love your work. And you're looking for something to do next and you love their work. So why don't we get you guys together and see if you can work something out to do together? And that's what happened. We got together because of, 2K, our publisher. And talked about what we wanted to do, and they wanted to do something Borderlands. We were all kind of, after chatting, sort of came to the two or three things. The fans want us to go to the moon. There's still a lot of desire to, for the Australia guys to talk about the story of Handsome Jack, and we want to do more Handsome Jack. Well, spoiler, but he's dead, and we're not bringing him back. So, but there's the prequel. There's like 5 years there. What happened to him during that time frame? And we sat down and told them, sort of how we picture what happened to him during that time frame, and talked to them a bit. And they started thinking about what they'd like to do with that story and how it exists and how it relates to what's happening on the moon. So, it clicked really quickly.
And your side of the story, completely different?
Absolutely not. I mean, meeting with the Gearbox guys was fantastic. And having the opportunity to work on a Borderlands game was fantastic as well. We're all big fans of Borderlands and Gearbox. So to be able to speak with them quite openly about what we do with the Borderlands franchise and the Borderlands universe, and to have the guys from Gearbox, Matt specifically, was so yeah, that sounds really cool. Let's go with that and let's develop something like that. What can you guys do? Was an opportunity we couldn't miss.
It is such an interesting franchise, such an interesting property, because it has its foundation, but it seems like there's not really anything you can't do in it. It's sort of a crazy world there. What kind of, obviously you worked on the story together, but sort of what kind of framework does Gearbox set for someone else? Because you're also lending it to Telltale. It's sort of spreading out now beyond your door, so to speak.
Admittedly, I am getting a lot of travel time. But I'm going to San Francisco and I'm going to Australia, and they have kangaroos in their streets, and I'm not really complaining. It's a lot of fun. But one thing we've actually done that people are going to sort of see, because the Telltale game is very story driven, and because actually the one in Australia is also very much a strong story. But there's a few threads and plot lines and stories of myself and Anthony Birch and some of the other people at Gearbox have been sort of stringing subtly throughout the universe. And we have an opportunity here to take some of those threads and pull them taut. So events that happen in the pre-sequel have an impact on the story of the Telltale game. And many of those had their origins as early as the first Borderlands game. One of the things about having somebody in the position of a franchise director is that I need to keep the tapestry and think about where all these characters are going, where they're coming from, what's the framework. Whether we do any other games ever again or not, we're prepared and we understand what happens to the universe before, what happened to the universe after, and also what happened to the universe in between these two games, which, as it turns out, is something we've been able to leverage here in some really entertaining ways.
So speaking of the gameplay that was there, something that really got people hooked was the gameplay of the original Borderlands, taken even further in Borderlands 2. What kind of things are you trying to tweak up with sort of the gameplay offering that Borderlands has?
Well, you've got the theme there of taking it further. So we took it further. We're on the moon, and the moon allows us to fulfill some great promises of what we expect on the moon. You expect no gravity, you expect low atmosphere, you expect lasers, it's pretty cold up there. So yeah, why not have all of those things? And we've been able to do that in a way that really, really adds to the combat and makes it more exciting and more fun. Low gravity, for instance, is the opposite of cover. But you don't need to hide behind something and go and shoot someone. Just go up and go up and go up. So you can get to the point of jumping over things, or jumping over large caverns, jumping over large spaces, as well as jumping over your enemies to fire down for the first time. And that is really, really fun. And to add to that, looking at how oxygen works, we didn't want it to be a mechanic that made you think about where's my next oxygen, I'm going to run out, I'm going to die. So that doesn't happen too much. If you do run out of oxygen, it affects your health, but you get the oxygen back pretty quickly and everything comes back. But beyond that, we've made it a really essential piece of gameplay now. We've even weaponized it. So to the point where you can use your oxygen to jump higher in the air or further in the air. We have these things called Oz kits, which actually enhance that experience. So it can do things like add elemental damage to what we call a slam. So you jump high up in the air, come down really hard, slam down on your enemy, and while you've done it, you've also set them on fire or thrown acid over them or electrocuted them or frozen them, which is my favorite. And that really adds to something that's brand new to the gameplay, and it's just so much fun.
Did you get a chance to play the game yet?
Absolutely. We had the presentation and the hands-on. So,
which character did you play as?
I can't remember now. I'm just blanking. I think so. Yeah.
All right, that's Athena. But if you've played Borderlands before, one of the things that we're really proud of and people are understanding is it's so intuitive because it's in a natural extension of how you play. The gravity, the jumping and bursting forward and backwards. Did you find that quick and easy to sort of grasp hold of?
Absolutely. I mean, always changes a little bit how you see the sort of the battlefield, because I mean you're used to playing it one way, but it takes a few minutes and then you're sort of into it.
We had someone said, "Oh, I always hated how charging enemies would run you down, but you added this feature so I could get away from them." Like, that isn't why we added the feature. Someone else says, "Oh, I love the fact you gave us a feature that lets us get into combat, right? Dive right into the middle because I love fighting melee." No, I was overwhelmed and I was able to jump and boost backwards and get out of the combat. That was awesome, and I was shooting all the way. And what a great feature you've added. It's like procedural. Lets players invent their own fun. So I'm just glad you got to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is one of those things with Borderlands that is so sort of immediate into it. You and it always feeds you with that sort of next little thing, sort of the breadcrumbs. I want to get to that next point. I want to get that next piece of gear, that next piece of thing. But one of the things that I really like about it, and we sort of touched about a little bit about the characters, because I think you've expanded it from Borderlands, fun characters. You went a little further in Borderlands 2, and I think maybe you're taking it even further with both Tales from the Borderlands and here in the pre-sequel.
When you played, you may have noticed that the actual player characters now have dialogue, and they're speaking and they're referring to and commenting on the events. In Borderlands 2 for the DLCs, one thing we do, like we spend way too much time and money and resources on DLC. Our DLCs tend to be really big and ambitious beyond any reasonable publisher requests because we love making the game, but we also take the opportunity to sort of explore the possibilities of the game. And for the last couple of DLCs for Tiny Tina's Assault and Dragon Keep, we had the characters speak and react and talk about the situation they were in, and sort of put that out there and see how the audience reacts and how all our players react. And the reaction was 100% positive. Everybody said, "It's great. I'm not playing a blank, a blank
class.
Yeah, a cast of like some games I'm going to embody and I'm going to put myself in the world of Skyrim. I love Skyrim. That's great. But our promise is a little different. Our promise is I'm fighting with Athena. I'm fighting with Lilith. It's not I'm playing a character who happens to be a female. It's no, this is Lilith, and I get to go along with Lilith on an adventure. And our audience really loves that, and our players really love that, and we love that. So in the new one, we actually have the characters talking, commenting, and having their own story arcs within the game. So Nisha starts off, and she meets Jack for the first time. Well, anyone who's played Borderlands 2 knows that by Borderlands 2, she's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And we sort of get to play a little bit with the fact that there's an evolving relationship here. If you played Athena, you may notice that Athena is really trying hard to be a good person after being sort of evil assassin for Atlas. And when she showed up in the Secret Army of General Knox, she was trying really, really hard to be a better person, really, really hard to change her lot in life. So she's thrown in with Handsome Jack because he seems like a heroic figure.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, we like to abuse our characters. But over the course of the game, she's coming to realize this guy is not the hero she wanted him to be. And she's fighting with her honor, and her need to stay true to her mission and her goals is conflicting a little bit with she's not really sure she approves of his methods. His the end justifies the mean attitude is hard for her to deal with. And it's fun for us to be able to sort of explore those elements of the characters. And we've never been able to do that before to this extent.
And maybe it's a better narrative device in a game like Borderlands than say audio files or something like that, because you can sort of stay within it. You're not really taking out of the experience, and it's such an intense game.
Yeah. Sorry, but there's something else. Like we're able to do it even on a deeper level with Wilhelm. Wilhelm is a character who's sort of become obsessed with technology and wanting to improve himself. As you buy points into the skill tree, you slowly replace parts of your body with mechanics. So his character arc is actually gameplay.
Yeah, and as you're saying, and as Matt was alluding to, we've given more of a voice to those characters. So you're not just playing as a character along for the ride. You can hear what they're saying, how they're commenting on the situation. You know, that they're having fun and making jokes at the expense of your other players. So you get to see the characters not only express themselves for the first time or in a real deep kind of way, but you also get the reaction of your other players towards yourself. And that adds something really new and interesting to the story.
So obviously, when you announced this game, one reaction that came from fans who'd already bought a new gen console was, why not new gen as well? Have you heard these reactions? Is this something you're considering down the line, perhaps? I know for this October, it's going to be PC, PS3, Xbox 360.
Yeah, sure, but I guess we're full on developing that PS3, 360 PC kind of game. And we really believe in that too. I mean, all the players of Borderlands 2 are all playing on those consoles. That's the choice they've got. So we want to reward those guys and keep giving the Borderlands pre-sequel experience on that console. I mean, if fans say, hey, we'd really like this on a next-gen console, well, we'll think about that. But right now, we're concentrating on the consoles we know.
That's the official line anyway. But I'm hoping for it because, personally, I played both Borderlands on that, but right now I'm playing PS4, Xbox One. I've sort of moved on.
Admittedly, the fans you find in the forums and the fans who interview people for gaming, you might actually be on the cutting edge of games. You might actually.
You're being very nice.
You might be somebody who actually goes to E3 instead of reading about it, or even more so, most of your fans don't even know E3 happens. They just know the cool games come out. The vast majority of our fans still have their Xbox. There's a few of them that say, "Oh, I moved my Xbox into my kid's room, so I have to go into my kid's room to play the game." Well, yeah, but the other thing is it's the middle in a trilogy.
Yeah.
And moving it on to next gen and requiring people to buy new hardware to play the middle on a trilogy, that feels a little disingenuous. And we sort of want to respect that. As I said, one day maybe, I don't know, we'll think about that. We'll see how people react to the game, how much fun they have, and whether or not everybody moves on to the next gen fully next year.
And how far a potential next Borderlands would be away in the future.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of considerations, and but for now we're pretty happy with our choice. I think people are going to be happy with it too.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, both of you.
Cheers, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you.